Boy oh boy, we got early reviews of the Sony A95K, and today I'm going to be letting you know my thoughts on that. Spoiler, they're not good. So smack a like on this video if we're just getting to the point. But with that, let's get started. So let's cut the crap, right? This is going to be a balls to the walls, in your face kind of video, and if you don't like that, now is a good time to click off. There's the disclaimer. Simply put, I've been seeing a lot of these exclusive rights being given to multiple reviewers to review this product before we even know what the price of this thing is going to be and before we even know the release date. Now, anytime that happens, that strikes me a lot as two things: controlling the narrative and almost like damage control before the damage is started. Because if nobody's allowed to speak on this but people you've hand selected, Sony, that is not going to come across as somebody being honest about what they're saying. Just throwing that out there. Now, another thing that kind of bugged me is more recently I saw Digital Trends, the latest to get their hands-on experience and see this product. I saw what he had to say. And if you really watch them carefully, they kind of slip up sometimes, and nobody caught this, so I'll point this out. In the video, Digital Trends says, is it going to be as bright as a mini LED television? And then almost pauses in the video and gets argumentative and goes to what end, more or less. And kind of goes on a tangent of saying in a moderately lit room or whatever, it'll be more than bright enough, people won't have a problem, didn't notice any ABL, things like that. But here's the thing. Sony is talking about, even on their website, this thing is going to be 200% brighter than conventional televisions. And what's even more concerning is when Sony advertised this initially, they were talking about huge brightness gains over even regular OLEDs that we have on the market right now. And now they're kind of walking that back, as it's now closer to, I would imagine, some initial time frame for, at the very least, releasing a release date. And now we're hearing even the media and the reporters come out and say, well, it's bright enough. That's not what I expected from this. I was expecting, wow, this brightness is knocking me on my ass for an OLED. And we're not hearing them say that. I haven't heard one person say, holy shit, the brightness has just came out and destroyed everything we saw from LEDs because of the infinite contrast, the perfect contrast. We're not seeing any jargon like that. That's the first strike. The other strike is, as Caleb kind of goes on and talks about how amazing the brightness is, or not the brightness, the color is, I'm watching his footage. It doesn't look any different from what he's ever produced. Ever. I don't see a visible difference. I don't see saturated color. It just looks, it's like meh. It's a flat image. It doesn't look like wow, razzle dazzle. And the thing that bugs me with these guys is they'll look at a neutered image with no balls and they'll call it a man. And I just don't understand how that happens. And for me, I'm sitting here and I'm watching and I'm like, are we watching the same shit? And now here's where I have a distinct advantage over most of you guys watching. I'm an AV YouTuber. I'm a guy that actually is a professional that knows how to record these TVs and knows what they look like once recorded. So when I'm watching someone else's video, I'm not the average person piecing it apart. I'm somebody that does this shit. And I'm looking at it and I'm like, you're full of shit, man. Because when you record it a certain way, it does have certain behaviors, certain hues, certain tonalities that it gives off. And the the A95K didn't give off any of that. And for me, I'm just sitting here and I'm expecting to really be blown back, and that never happened. Now, I will have to, at this point, personally get my hands on this TV to see if it's worth anything, because I'm not getting anything of value from these cherry-picked reviewers. And it's unfortunate that they can't just go the extra mile, but again, they're not really there to review the product, they're there to market it. That's why they are the only ones allowed to see it first before, again, we have pricing. That's not an accident. It's called setting yourself up to win, and that's what Sony does. Because let me tell you what's going to happen. By the time anyone says anything about this product, if it's negative, they're going to sound crazy. Fact. Consumer and reviewer alike. It does not matter who you are, because here's what's going to happen. You go on an owner's forum and you talk about this problem you had with the A95K. Everyone's going to laugh at you and they're going to call you out your name, and you're going to end up as some sort of mock thread on Reddit or something. You know how people are in this community. My point being is that when you have multiple sources reviewing something at the same exact time, going to a very specific Sony headquarters event or something like that, that is not a review. Unless they've paid for it with their own money and they've actually invested themselves to see that product, all you're getting is just a controlled fluff piece that the corporation approves of. And again, if they want your opinion, they'll give it to you. If you like those kind of reviews, digital trends and the like, they're all for you. Go enjoy it. You want to see something raw and organic and real? Subscribe, and hell, maybe consider going beyond subscribe and becoming a member and joining to see what we do this year, because I tell you right now, it's not going to be fucking, oh, let's go gentle on Sony or anyone else. No, we're going to actually see what these things do, because this is a very important time in history where we have a war that broke out in the Ukraine. We all know about that. That has, again, devastated an entire country. We, again, have prices skyrocketing every day through inflation. The housing market is terrible. Everybody's barely holding on to disposable income. And these companies have the audacity to cut corners with things like a 40% recycled material being used on a top tier $4,000, I guarantee you, $4,000 product. And, where are we seeing the savings, man? We aren't seeing savings. We aren't seeing the corners cut on the pricing for us. We're seeing, instead, record-breaking highs. Even LG is not getting off scot-free this year, because they have the audacity to raise the pricing of their C series to a higher level. For the Evo panel, it had better deliver, and I will be testing it mercilessly against the C1 and everything else, because at the end of the day, time is out for this narrative that the hand-picked, you can count them, What Hi-Fi, AVS Forums, HDTV Test, Digital Trends, the same names over and over again, cherry-picked to go out and see certain things by manufacturers, glow it up as the best thing ever, never leave a one-star review, and then at the end of the day, you get it home and you experience something different, and now because multiple reviewers that are reputable, said something, now you're crazy? Let me tell you something about reputable companies. The only thing that makes them reputable are their business connections. Because let me tell you this about somebody who is, I'll say this now, right? I'm overlooked. I'm neglected. I don't get to go to those pre-CES events. And you know what that means for me? I have to be out here and do it the right way every single time I do it, so that you know whether it's truthful or not. Because at the end of the day, that's why I'm overlooked. Because I'm not going to sit here and suck off Sony for the sole purpose of making Sony feel good about a product that maybe is mediocre. Those other guys will. And my point with all that is, simply put, we need integrity to come back, because we're losing too much as consumers and in society because of this slothish attitude of mediocrity being celebrated. Everybody doesn't get a ribbon. We don't need participation awards. Either you're great or you're not. And it's that clear, cut, and dry.